Alright, so I'm going to be opening up and disassembling this Lenovo laptop. I'm not sure what model it is. Hopefully once I open it up, I'll figure it out. Anyways, we're going to use a PH1 or JIS1 screwdriver. Okay, let's go ahead and undo all the screws. You want to keep all the screws in order because they can be different size, shape, and lengths. To do that, I put them with the flat side down in the pattern I remove them. Alright, so I'll show you here, just like this, like that, on my desk in the pattern I take them out. Alright, I don't know if the customer took them apart before or something and put different screws in different spots, because this screw was much bigger and a little bit longer than the rest, so it's a little bit strange. If you are just planning to remove the CD drive, you only need to take out this one screw. Once you do that, you can get your fingernail or whatever and you can go like this, and usually you can wiggle and pull it out eventually, just like that. Okay, so there we go. Alright, now we're going to continue going across and removing all these screws. Okay, again, just put them in the pattern that you remove them. Okay, I like to go across, so 4 like that, then 1 here, then 2 here, and then 2 here. Or you can combine these into 4, alright, so that you have extra room on your desk. Whatever helps you remember it, alright, just use that. Okay, so let's go ahead and remove the last 4 down here. It could be the issue with their computer, because right now it's not turning on at all. It could be they put the wrong screws in, or a screw that was too long and damaged it. Right now, when you power it up, the screen is just black and nothing happens. Okay, so we got all these screws out. Now let's go ahead and pop this thing open. So we're going to slowly, carefully open up the screen. Okay, you want to be careful because feels like the hinge is actually pretty tight. So I'm actually gonna use, if you have someone to help, you want to kind of squeeze this and then use something to push the screen forward. Okay, all right, but I'm gonna use my legs to kind of do that. All right, so there we go. All right, so now that we got this open, what you want to do, what I do is I use my fingernails in the gap here. Okay, so as you can see, there's a gap. Okay, and then what I do is I use my thumbs on the back and my fingernails in that gap and push on it like that to pull back with my fingernails. So here you can see how it pries the clips out. Alright, and we're just going to go all the way around. So now that I got part of it open, I'm going to actually close this very carefully and gently. I'm actually pushing down on this as I twist it, so that way the hinges stay pushed down against the frame. Alright, so let's go around and continue popping all the clips out. Okay, most of it came out pretty easily. This side, usually with the CD drive, will be a little bit difficult. Alright, but it looks like it's coming out okay. You kind of like pull this little plastic piece out this way as you kind of lift it up. And there we go, we got the entire cover out. So let's go ahead and lift this off. I don't know why, but they peeled off the entire bottom label there. So here you can see inside. Alright, the battery model number here. Okay, let's see. Hopefully the issue is simple and it might just be the RAM. I don't know. It's slightly popped up, but I don't know. Somebody might have already worked on this and messed it up. That might be why it's not working. Okay, so the battery model number, if there is one, let's see here. Okay. I don't know if you can read that. It's L16C2PB2. Alright, so hopefully you can actually read that. Alright, so I'm going to disconnect the battery as well as the BIOS or Cmos battery. Alright, so to remove the battery, we're just going to take the screws out that are holding it in place. So there's 1, 2, 3, and then a 4th screw here. Again, I don't know what the customer had done to this before, so for all I know, the screws can be all mixed up or something. But let's go ahead and remove all 4 screws, okay? I don't know if anything is missing from here or what. It is a little dusty, so I am going to have to take it outside and clean that up after I do this. Alright, so once you get all those screws, you can lift the battery up from the back like this slightly. Okay, make sure it clears the area here. I don't know why it's, oh yeah, so make sure it clears that little plastic notch up there. Right, so lift this up, and then usually to remove these batteries, I get one finger underneath the cable. Let me actually zoom in to show this a little bit better. Okay, so I get one finger underneath the cable here and then the other finger on top. Then I use that to kind of wiggle this connector side to side. Okay, just like that, and eventually it pops out. Okay, so pretty easy. I'm going to brush the dust off into a trash can that's next to me. Okay. Well, some of this dust is actually stuck on there pretty good, so it's not coming out. Anyways, we'll set the battery aside. Okay, here you can see the motherboard model number. It's really long, so hopefully you can just read that. I'm not going to read it off. Yours might be different because these are with the CPU built in, so it's not upgradable or anything. All right, anyways, let's go ahead and pop the RAM out. So there's actually RAM built into this computer as well, but here's the other stick of RAM. This is a PC4 2666V, so you can get another PC4 266V any size you want. All right, so if you want, you can get a 16 gig stick, but usually having uneven amounts of RAM won't really speed up the computer unless you're actually overusing your RAM. So yeah, I probably wouldn't upgrade the RAM on this unless you just you're way overusing the RAM. Anyways, there's a 2.5-inch SATA hard drive here. You can upgrade this to a 2.5-inch SATA SSD. To remove the hard drive, let me zoom in a little bit and show this. Okay, there's this little latch here. You just flip that up. Once you flip that up, you can pull this cable out. Okay, assuming it's not glued down. Okay, it looks like it is like glued down or something. So you want to peel this adhesive up. Okay, then you can go ahead and pull this out. You want to be very careful not to crease this or pinch this bend part here because you could easily break that. All right, and then to remove the hard drive, so there's this little somewhat spring-loaded plastic piece here, so you push that in against the hard drive and then we can lift the hard drive out. You actually don't need to disconnect this cable to remove the hard drive, but then it's a little bit tricky because when you go to, okay, it actually holds this piece in there. So once you grab the hard drive, you can actually wiggle and pull the hard drive back just like that. So you actually can just leave this connector in there permanently. Okay, so here's the hard drive. Again, it's a 2.5-inch SATA hard drive. And then if you get a replacement SSD or something, you just pull this bracket off, all right? Just like this, and then you can attach this onto the new hard drive or SSD. All right, so I'm gonna put this back in. Okay, so I'll leave this out for now because I'm gonna actually clean the dust out here. Let me go ahead and stick this cable back down. So we didn't have to actually take this cable out at all. So get that lined up. I'm gonna have to look up the motherboard model number and then see what model this computer is. But anyways, there we go. You got the trackpad cable here, all right? It comes out the same way with the little flip latch. You got the keyboard connector here, same thing, also a flip latch here. All right, actually, let me make sure that's in all the way. Okay, you got the optical drive, CD drive connector here, and the CD drive, you can replace the CD drive with another SATA hard drive adapter. So they have hard drive adapters that will fit in here. The main thing is you want to measure the thickness of the drive. I think it's a 9.5 millimeter thick, but you'll want to measure it just to be safe. You have the keyboard model number here, but on this laptop, they use melted plastic to hold it in place, so most likely it's going to be better to replace the entire palm rest assembly if the keyboard breaks. So here's the model number. I don't think anyone will use this, but there you go. All right, then you also got the LCD LVDS connector up here that also releases the same way. If you do mess with this, you want to make sure to press and hold the power button after removing the battery to reduce the risk of damage. A lot of times if you try and pull these cables out without doing that, you're going to burn out the backlight or the backlight circuit on the motherboard. So you want to be very careful with that. All right, then you got the wireless card here, and then we have the BIOS or Cmos battery here. So I'm going to disconnect this as well. Again, then I'm going to open it up and press and hold the power button. Let me actually tighten up the hinge screws a little bit here. So sorry, let me zoom out. All right, so I'm going to just tighten up these hinge screws. Okay, and then the only other thing here is the speaker connector here, which basically unplugs like the Cmos battery. You just grab the wings and you just wiggle it and it'll eventually pull out. And this speaker connects over to that speaker over there. All right, anyways, I'm gonna try draining the power and then I'm gonna clean the dust out and we'll see if that somehow fixes the computer. So hold the power button 10 to 15 seconds, all right? And then, yeah, other than that, I'm gonna clean the dust out and I'll be back. So let me do that real quick. All right, and I'll see you guys in a bit. All right, so I'm back. Here we go. So let's see, let's go ahead and plug in the battery and we'll test this. Since it already has some built-in RAM here, we're gonna test it without the RAM. Okay, let's go ahead and plug the Cmos BIOS battery back in. Let's go ahead and plug the regular battery back in. Okay, just get that lined up. Pinch the two connectors together, just like that. All right, and get everything else lined up as well. Okay, let's go ahead and put these screws back in for the battery. Okay. All right, we're gonna test this without the hard drive and the optical drive or the CD drive, okay? We just wanna see if it does the same thing or if there's any change. If it does the same thing, then there's a good chance it's a motherboard issue or a LCD screen issue, okay? So let's go ahead and put all these back in and then let's power it up. So let's go ahead and open up the laptop. Let me zoom out a little bit. Okay, the screen looks like it's lined up okay, so I'm not going to mess with that. Let's go ahead and open this up slowly, carefully. Okay, then we're going to go ahead and plug this in just in case the charge is low. Okay, the charger light comes on. I did see the screen flash. Excuse me. So I have a feeling the computer's completely dead. I actually see the power light on the keyboard came on all on its own, which is also a little strange. We'll leave it on for a little bit and see if anything happens. If nothing happens, then we're just gonna end up putting it all back together. So the battery charge light is just flashing here. Okay, nothing's happening with the power button. So I'll give it another 10 seconds and then I'm gonna power it off completely and then power it back on and see if there's any change. I don't think anything is happening. Let me see if on the back fan's not spinning. Okay. It is warm. The CPU is getting warm, but nothing is showing up on the screen. Nothing is happening. Again, I don't see anything on the screen at all. So the only other thing I can try is on an external monitor, but that's not really going to do anything. I have a feeling it's a motherboard issue because the power button light turned on by itself. So I held the power button. I don't know if you noticed, the screen went like a little greenish, and that's the screen is off. Now if I turn it back on, here you can see the screen went black again. But again, nothing is happening. So we're gonna just turn this thing off and then we're going to put it back together. I'm gonna try with a external monitor, but I think it's completely dead, the motherboard. So this likely isn't going to be worth repairing. I unplugged it, the power's still on. I'm gonna hold the power button and shut it off and you'll see the screen go greenish. All right, there we go. All right, I'm gonna carefully close this again. If you can, it helps to squeeze the hinges when you close this just to be safe. All right, just like that, because sometimes when you pull it, it doesn't have enough, all the screws here, and then it will sometimes end up prying those out. All right, so let's go ahead and put the stick of RAM back in. So to put it back, you put it at this angle like that, and then you click it down. All right, let's go ahead and put the hard drive back in. All right, get that lined up. All right, then you kind of just push this into place and then drop that in. It should click itself back in. All right, and then we'll put the bottom cover back on. Sometimes you gotta line up the ports on the right side, but this model looks like you don't need to do that. All right, so just get everything lined up and click everything down. Okay, just go all the way around. Make sure everything is lined up into place and clicked into place. There we go. Let's go ahead and put the CD drive or optical drive back in. All right, and now we'll just put all the screws back. Other than that, that's all there is to this model. Hopefully this video helped you out. If it did, make sure to like, subscribe, and share my channel with others. Alright, if it helped you save a bunch of money, please consider contributing to the channel. I do these repairs for a living, and it actually eats into my business. So hopefully, as it helps more people, even though it costs me more in like these jobs, which usually earn me a lot more, hopefully in the long run with those small contributions, it'll actually even out or be better in the long run. Alright, so thanks for watching. You're welcome to stay while I put back all the screws, but other than that, that's all there is to this. Alright, go ahead and finish putting back all these screws. Alright, and that's all there is to it. I'm going to look up the model of this, so hopefully I'll have the model number. But thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye!